Hello.
Hello. Hi, Mr. Waleed.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Miss you. Miss
I'm-
your voice.
I miss you too. How's everything?
You're good.
How has it been so far?
It was busy week. Let's say it like that. It was
Okay.
very busy week.
I would love to hear. I would love to hear more details about
Your
what busy
details.
looks like. The secret is in the details.
Okay. Hmm?
I said the secret lies in the details.
Yeah, sure. I had a team meeting on Saturday. Lasted about 6 hours.
Wow.
Then
Seriously?
management meeting for
What kind of meeting lasts for 6 hours?
It was the New Year's meetings.
And what was your agenda
So-
for that meeting?
We discussed our Q4 target.
Uh-huh.
We promoted some medical reps for further degrees. Like, as you know, hello?
I can hear you, but it's
I'm hearing the disconnecting
Mhm.
sound. I don't know why.
Okay.
We promoted our medical reps. We planned for 2021. Targets were shared between the medical reps, and that was our. We had a new product. It's for nasal congestion, so we had a brief product knowledge about it. Then we had our management meeting. Lasted around 2 hours, so I was so tired when I came back home on Saturday. Then for Sunday till Wednesday, till Tuesday, I was just supporting my medical reps, double visiting with them for doctors and pharmacies, problem solving, doctor support, and like that. On Wednesday, which is yesterday, I have one of my medical reps, one of the best medical, or let's say he's the best medical rep I have on my team.
Representative.
His father was sick. Yeah. His father was sick, and he was in India with him for let me just remember when he left. He left on November. Yeah, I think it's November 10th or 15th. He left to India, and yesterday, Tuesday night at 10:30, he was home. So I was waiting him because I told you previously he's the best one that I have. So I was waiting for him. I met him yesterday. We had a long meeting discussing our plan for this area and what to do for next year. For the present year, not next year.
Okay, perfect. So that's generally speaking. And during this time, we've been a little bit disconnected. You've been a little bit busy, and then you had that kind of weird illness. I want to discuss with you something that is related to IELTS, and this is something quite significant in our discussion. We've been talking a little bit about it. And just to give you an idea, that part of our agenda of today, we're going to talk about paraphrasing for IELTS. It's a kind of a trick that will enable you write very effective essay for IELTS test, particularly writing section, because this has been our discussion for quite a few times, and this trick has come to be a very challenge to test takers, since when they start talking about IELTS and talking about IELTS, they seem to miss the point where they have to address the beginning of the IELTS test and how they start writing the introduction for IELTS test. So pretty much our whole discussion of today is going to be dedicated to that part. But first of all, I wanted to hear a little bit more about your experience with IELTS over the past time and what you've been doing in terms of English in general and IELTS in particular.
Mhm.
So again, what have you been doing in terms of English? Have there been any changes, any sort of preparation, any sort of program, software, activities that you've done to work on your English in general and your IELTS in particular?
No.
Even if it has to do with movies that you watched or anything like that.
I watched. I think it was one series.
Uh-huh.
I used to hear and to avoid reading the translation. But when sometimes I need it, I just go and have a small, let's say, a small look at it.
Mhm. Okay, glimpse. We call it a glimpse.
Glimpse. Can you just write it to me?
Yes, it's a glimpse. A glimpse
Okay.
of hope. مرات نقول a glimpse of hope يعني بصيص أمل.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a glimpse.
That I had one meeting with a foreigner. He was a French guy.
Uh-huh.
It was particularly in English. As you know, they don't speak.
Did you record the meeting?
No, we don't record.
It would be great to hear you talking with them. See what.
Just for compliance, so I can't do it.
Okay.
It's the compliance issue, so I can't do it.
You should not document whatever kind of conversation that you do with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you wanna record or let's say fix something between us, we can just send emails, but we can't record phone calls or Skype meetings. And I think I met a guy here. He's a good English speaker, so we discussed some issues in English.
Did you talk about me or not?
No, we weren't talking about social life.
Okay. Reason brought you to talk about politics and religion with that friend particularly.
It's a long talk. We talk about it. Then I don't know how we discussed about the politics. I don't know. I really don't remember that.
Okay. Well, I don't think that that it's a big deal if you talk about politics. At least it shows people that you are aware of the problems and complications that politics has brought to the country and whatever kind of problems that we still suffer from are all related in way or another to politics. And politics is just, I don't know, it's been causing so many troubles to people.
Let me tell you a secret.
Yeah.
I continued or I was still talking about the politics because for a second I felt that wow, I'm talking fluent English. So let's continue. So that's why I continue talking about politics. I don't care about everything.
Okay, let me pull out this article because.
Do I need my laptop?
No, you don't need it. It's quite interesting. It's a quite interesting article. Wait a second. Okay, this is in Huffington Post. Have you heard of this website? It's a magazine. It's it's a very popular website. It has UK version, Middle East version, and American version.
Let me have a look. Getting drunk makes you speak a foreign language better. Yeah.
I
did that.
Yeah, I okay, I'll send you the article because it's really good article and it's real. My friends used to tell me that, but I thought that I'm a researcher in language teaching. And when they started telling me that when you get drunk, you speak English better or any other language better, I was like, that is bullshit. That is horseshit. That is not possible. Uh, and then I started reading a research that just proved that to be true. And the reason is that it seems that some people and educators found that there is some sort of confidence barrier that people start to say,
Yeah.
well, I don't care whether I make mistakes or not. I don't care what people say. I just feel free and unrestricted and unrestrained. I'll just say whatever I like.
I think I'll drink some alcohol and take the test.
Please do. Please do.
It makes I don't know if you tried it before, but it makes you feel full confidence.
That is absolutely true. I was not believing this. Until I heard my friends talking about it, and it's really true. So I was like exploring these websites online, and it seems true that people have this sort of uh, you know ability to speak English better. And by the way, when we talk about speaking, we do not mean grammatically correct sentences. No, they use the word fluent, and fluent means speaking fast. Does not mean literally you speak good grammar or accurate English. It just means that you become faster and more speedy when you start talking, and that is just because your lack of the sense of or the filter. I'm sorry. That makes you feel restricted to talk with people in case they may feel bad or they feel sensitive about, and that is why that is the very reason that you started exploring with your friend uh, the topic of religion and topic of politics, because these are very sensitive topics in Iraq, especially if you're talking to the wrong person. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I know. I know the person I was talking to.
Okay, perfect. So that's
close to me.
okay. Now, do you remember what kind of topics you talked about? Politics or no?
It was just about mixing them or penetrating the religion
Mm-hmm.
and the politics.
Mm-hmm.
That's our big issue here in Iraq.
Okay.
They just brainwash they do a brainwash for the people
Mm-hmm.
by source of religion just to get their their let's say how their benefits from that.
Mm-hmm. It's something we call theocracy. I don't know if you know this word,
No.
but it's very common word in. It's from the word theo, and theo means something that has to do with God or heaven, and cracy is the ruling or governing of people. And it's theocracy is the religious government that rules people.
Yeah.
So
Or just mixing the religion or just, how to say that it's they use the religion
yeah,
to get benefit from that.
of course, there's some sort of benefit that comes from utilizing religion for sake of worldly uh, gains.
Yeah. As I told you, I think I'll be drunk when I'll do the test, the official test. I don't know if I'll do it. By the way, I looked up for testing test dates.
Uh-huh.
I think the test is closed in Baghdad.
I don't think. I don't think that this test is going to be available here anytime soon. The closest one is in Erbil or Suleimania, and
No, it was only Erbil.
okay.
I think that. As I remember, so I tried to pick a date, but I postponed that till I meet you, just to ask you about my preparedness or readiness for the test.
I think you're ready. I think you're ready in terms of speaking in general. You're not still ready to speak about particular topics, specific topics. We still haven't finished the. You're good in listening. Oh my God, your listening is good. But you still struggle with writing, and we will fix part of it, inshallah, today. We'll talk a little bit about it and see what we can do, because it's partially our topic of discussion for today.
Mr. Waleed, I think you know me, or you know that part of me that when I get time limit, I do my job or my task or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But when I feel free, I'll do nothing. I'll keep myself busy.
Okay, that's
it. I'll give you an example. So yesterday I came back around 10:30 p.m. So if I had a task and I have a time limit, so I should do with the task or the job I had to do.
Mm-hmm.
But since I don't have anything to do, I'm not restricted with an exam date or a task date. I feel free, so I just relax on the couch and I was just let's say scrolling my phone in the social media. So
okay, perfect.
I need to be restricted or
restrained.
bounded to a time.
You need to be restrained.
Restrained, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now we have certain tasks that we are going to talk about today, and they are related to something we call paraphrasing. Tell me what you know about paraphrasing, first of all.
I learned this word in the selling skills. The paraphrasing is just getting the sentence or word from the other person. Let's say it's a text or someone talking to you, and just fixing that word or sentence in a way which will you get benefit from that.
I love it. Now, if we look at the definition that I just sent you, it's expressing the meaning of the writer or speaker or something written or spoken using different words, especially to achieve greater clarity. You can either quote or paraphrase literally text, and that is not important, but the first part is the most important one, which is expressing the meaning of the writer or speaker or something written or spoken. Now, how do we take advantage of that? When we take Ielts tests, we sometimes get stuck in writing the first introduction, the introduction to the task, which is task number 2 of writing.
Yeah.
Download this just to have a look.
On my PC or on my laptop or my phone?
Yes.
Hello? Okay.
Now,
just give me a second.
It's just an image of the shape of the essay. We talked about having 5 paragraphs in the essay, and this is going to help us put a framework in our mind, because once your mind is subconsciously aware of certain framework, it is going to function better than giving it a multitasking, open-ended task of not knowing what to do. So the point that I want to make here is that when you start writing for Ielts, the first concerning part is going to be introduction, and we need to have a very good, solid introduction, because it is going to be evaluated by people, and usually people or human beings who have senses, who have feelings, usually judge based on the introduction. So sometimes we get influenced, we get the impression of the of the writers from the introduction. So if the introduction is good, we get a good impression about people. If the introduction is not good, we don't get good impression about the writer who we are talking to. So just keep that in mind. Okay?
So I have to write a very good introduction.
I will.
Or an excellent introduction.
That is hypothetically speaking. Now, how do we convert hypothesis to practice? We're going to do that today. Okay? We're going to do that today by paraphrasing. Sometimes when we ask صح. Sometimes when we write introductions in English, we get stuck in the first word. Like, what do we have to write? The first trick in Ielts is to be able to paraphrase the question before.
So we can paraphrase the sentence.
We paraphrase the part. Listen, we paraphrase the part before we say our opinion. We just need to paraphrase that, because that is going to give us a chance to tell people we know how to paraphrase, we know how to write, we know our job. So, look, in order to do that...
Can I just answer this phone, because this is my manager and I have to answer it?
Sure.
Just 2 seconds.
Sure,
okay.
Sure.
Sorry,
No worries. In order to do so, we need to learn how to use synonyms, اللي هي المرادفات, more, and we need to read more. But since we do not have enough time to do lots of reading, extensive reading, we can just rely on synonyms. Now, this is an example here. Do you agree that the advantages cars bring outweigh the disadvantages?
Do you agree what? Do you agree that the advantages cars bring outweigh
the disadvantages? How do we say this in our own words? That's a question in Ielts. But if we want to write an essay, we just need to write an introduction. And sometimes we get stuck in what to write in the introduction. So the answer is, what to write in the introduction is just paraphrase the question before you say your statement or your agreement or disagreement. Now, in order to do so, we have a trick. The trick is very interesting, Ahmed. Sometimes we need to put the end of the question, the end of the statement in the beginning. So we have here قلب اللي هو inversion. يعني الجملة مثلا, for example, cars bring more advantages than advantages. But instead of saying the word car, we say the word vehicle. So we're using our own word. We're not stealing. We're just paraphrasing that. So instead of saying the word car, we say vehicles. Now, do you agree that the advantages cars bring outweigh the disadvantages? As I mentioned, today we are going to learn only how to paraphrase. We are going to learn only how to paraphrase the introduction of the essay for Ielts. So when we start checking the question that comes in the test, we directly start writing. Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So
let's say it's in the introduction.
Mhm.
I can the advantages of the vehicles
mhm.
bring outweigh the disadvantages. But how to finish that? It's
Now add
it's the
and this add. Okay, خلينا نختصرها. Advantages and disadvantages. احنا عندنا مساوئ ومحاسن، عندنا cons and pros. سامع بيهم؟
نعم.
Cons and pros.
No.
اللي هي المحاسن والمساوئ، الإيجابيات والسلبيات. When we talk about phones, when we talk about light, when we talk about cars, we have advantages and disadvantages, or we have strength,
positives and
positives. Okay, positives and
cons and pros.
and negatives, or we have strengths and weaknesses. Okay, so these are synonyms. هذه مرادفات. Now we need to choose the ones that are more academic.
Yeah.
We need to choose the ones that sound more academic and sound more impressive. So how do we say that? Do you agree that the advantages of cars outweigh? بس نعيد صياغة السؤال. نقول do you admit بدل ما كلمة agree we use the word admit. If we want to say, and listen to this carefully, if we agree, we need to write an essay of agreement to convince people that we agree. If we disagree, we need to write an essay to convince people that we disagree with evidence, examples, and point and illustration and examples. Now, the sentence here, do you agree that disadvantages cars we can راح نعطيك اياها حتى نعطيك model على اساسه نشتغل. But for paraphrasing, it's open. There's nothing in my mind. We can change it the way we do that. Okay, so we say
it depends on the question or the sentence or the word you get, or you listen or you read or whatever.
That
how to get it.
Vehicles pros outweigh their cons. Now check this sentence out. Do you agree that the advantages cars bring outweigh the disadvantages? We say it is admittedly agreed that the vehicle's pros outweigh their cons.
So, I'm just asking, the pros and cons, are they, let's say, academic words?
Very academic words. We can say it is admittedly agreed that vehicles' strengths outweigh their weaknesses. It is admittedly agreed that vehicles' positives outweigh their negatives. It is admittedly agreed that vehicles' advantages outweigh their disadvantages. We just need to put it in our own words. Now, when we say that, we have opened the door to a very good academic introduction for the essay. Are we okay?
Okay.
This is what we call a statement. This is what we, by the way, is my voice clear?
Yeah, very clear.
Okay, perfect. So this is what we call a statement. The statement. اللي هو البيان. This is when we, let me just send you the photo again that I just sent you here. Look at the, when we have the essay, just look at the top introduction that says thesis statement. Thesis statement is the البيان تصريحك, whether you agree or disagree.
Yeah.
and this should be in the beginning.
Okay.
Now, there is no getting stuck anymore with what to write in the introduction. Okay?
Yeah, but on the first writing trials, I was just copying and pasting
No.
the
No.
I know it was my fault. I know it. It's my fault. It was my fault.
No.
Now I learned it.
Now,
I had it.
now we do that.
So we can use the paraphrasing.
When we do that, the IELTS evaluator will just decide that you do not deserve higher mark just because you're trying to fill in the essay with as many words from the copying from the question, and this is not acceptable. As I mentioned earlier, that we only focus today on paraphrasing because I want you to start with a good introduction that leaves good impression, and then we gradually build on this basis of foundation. Next question is, when choosing a job, the salary is the most important consideration. Now, what we do here, it's a trick. We invert, نعكس the sentence. The salary is the most important consideration when choosing a job. You see it? Now, that's perfect. Now, what we do here, simply, we just invert. Some sentences do not accept inversion. Some sentences do. Now, the role comes as what kind of alternative? We need to change every word in this statement so that it becomes our own words.
Okay, let me just ask you a question before starting.
Go ahead.
Replacing the words. Do you suggest any resources rather than reading?
For?
I have no time to read. For synonyms.
Oh, for synonyms. There are hundreds and thousands of
just resources rather than reading. Please, Mr. Walid, because I don't have time.
I will think. I'm just writing that down here. By other resources like video content. For
you mean movies?
No, like tutorials, online tutorials.
Videos.
You can listen to that, or podcast you can listen to in your car.
Okay. I think we don't have English language radios. Yeah. I only search for it. I sometimes search for that since my phone is connected to the car, so I just want to drive safely.
Mm-hmm.
But when I have some time to listen for radio, I search for some channels.
It's not radio.
We don't have any.
It's not radio, but it's podcast or video tutorials for learning how to paraphrase, and that. But remember something, Ahmed. There's something quite important that I want to say. Mm-hmm. Language learning and writing are skill-based professions. They are not knowledge-based. They are skill-based. Now, the difference is that they are not like a test in geography or history that you go memorize some words and you go and do the test and you pass. No, they are skill-based. They need to be trained to become who you are. You need to be trained because they are skills. Now, sometimes a chef can master a recipe, one recipe, and becomes better than all the chefs in the world who do this recipe, just because he has a skill that he developed over years. Just because.
I lost one.
Mm-hmm.
Just continue.
Just because it is a skill, it takes months and years to master. So we're just taking shortcuts.
Yeah. I lost one of my resources. It was the meetings. We lost much of our business, so I lost my resources.
Okay.
I had meetings and trainings outside Iraq, and I lost them since COVID-19 or since ISIS.
Okay. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Okay, perfect. So the point that I want to mention here is quite simple. Just because it is a skill-based profession.
Just a second. In my subconsciously, I felt I should say I clearly hear you when I just answered you.
That is correct.
Just cook. So I started learning.
Okay. Now the adverbs are the most mobile items or components of English sentences. Okay. الظروف هي أكثر المكونات الخاصة بالجملة حركة وقابلية على الحركة. For example, it is correct to say clearly, I understand you. I clearly understand you. I understand clearly you. I understand you clearly. They're all acceptable because they are mobile and they just emphasize one part of the sentence, and it's quite clear from the beginning that whenever you put it in the beginning or in the middle or the end, they're still quite clear. Okay? Now, going back to my point here, as I mentioned, mastering writing is a skill-based. It is not knowledge-based. It is not like rules you memorize in your mind and you go and write them down and you're good to go. No. It's a skill that you develop by practice, by training.
Practicing.
Yes. Now, let's go back here. I have another question that I just asked you here. The salary is the most important consideration when choosing a job. Now, we just need to rephrase this in our own words. But first of all, we need to ask ourselves, what do I know? What kind of words that I can use instead of each one of these words, but they still make the same meaning? So for example, the salary, we can say the payment, the wages.
The payment or the income.
Or the income. We can say the income is the most important. Now the word most important, what is a synonym for the word most important? We can say
comes first.
We can say vital. No, we need to think of academic words like vital, significant, essential. So vital, essential, significant. These are common academic words. Now the word consideration here means aspect or side or perspective. So you need to choose a word for consideration.
It was interrupting, so just can you repeat it?
I said the word consideration.
Consideration. Yeah.
Here means aspect. So we can choose the word aspect instead of consideration.
Aspect, yeah.
So the salary is the vital aspect of selecting instead of choosing any occupation. Are we clear?
Yeah.
Okay, now what we did, we paraphrased the question and then we decided to agree by saying the salary is the vital aspect of selecting any occupation. Then what happens next is we are going to develop an essay that just builds on this. Are we okay so far?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Now tell me what we discussed so far about paraphrasing.
Can you just sure, sorry, but I can answer the phone, can I?
Oh yeah, sure.
He's my manager. We have a big issue. 1 second.
Sure, Ahmed.
Sorry for interrupting you. You asked me about what we discussed about paraphrasing.
Sure.
Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Yeah.
you. And just in a summary, tell me what we talked about so far regarding paraphrasing.
Okay. The most important part of writing essay is the introduction, and it gives a full picture or a clear picture about how let's say what degree do you deserve. The paraphrasing should be used in the beginning or introduction. It's called the thesis statement. It means using our own words to describe to paraphrase or to change the words we had in the let's say in the headline.
Perfect.
And we should use synonyms.
Okay, perfect. Now let's carry on. So far,
we talked about what do we call them? Who can move? We can move them. The adjectives.
Adverbs.
Adverbs.
Okay. Now we're getting into a little bit more challenging activity here, which is paraphrasing a longer paragraph. Okay. So we do have here a longer paragraph, and I want you just to read it and understand it first of all.
I didn't understand one word. Understand what one word?
Okay.
It's the compulsory. Is it mandatory?
Compulsory is mandatory. Mandatory means that the kind of service, يعني الخدمة الاجتماعية, people should have when they are in high school, they should go do some community service, خدمة اجتماعية.
Volunteers.
Yes.
Volunteers.
Because that is going to improve them as active citizens. So that's simply what it means. Now, the question is, how do we paraphrase this?
Let me just have a look. Okay. Do you want me to type it or just read
Yes,
it?
please.
Or say it?
Yes, please.
Guess what? Right?
Type it. Type it.
Type it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me type. So, I'm paraphrasing. Do I need to have a long sentence or short?
We tend to pretty much copy the exact or very close meaning, but we preserve the content, the genuine part of the sentence. So we should not modify it in a way that just alters the whole meaning. We should preserve the meaning as it is, but with some sort of modification. So we can say, for example, here, some people believe that unpaid community service should be a compulsory part of high school. We can say, part of the obligation of high school is that people should do or perform voluntarily some community service, such as working in churches and cleaning neighborhood and teaching adults or children. بدل ما نقول younger children, we نقول children or adults. We just change it, but we do not change or alter 100% what's in the content of this paragraph. Did you hear me?
Yeah, I heard you. I'm just thinking how to write it.
Because it is a skill-based activity, Ahmed, it's not knowledge-based. We're doing it. We are having a little bit of struggle. High school, but trust me, if we master this trick, you're going to start writing very good introductions for essays in Ielts. High school volunteers are mandatory for shortening distances between people. This is perfect for another question. But high school volunteers, we can say high school mandatory volunteering. Volunteering, high school mandatory volunteering. I want you to finish this. I just modified it.
I'll just finish when you end. When you ended.
I ended. Yeah. I hear you. I'm just looking here. High school mandatory volunteering is important.
Do a cup of coffee. I need it.
Okay, so the word important is not quite academic. It's very common. Like everybody's saying the word important. We need to change it to something more academic, like saying, for example, significant, essential, vital. These are words. Now it's the art of synonyms. So we can use different expressions, Ahmed. Here we have powerful, we have influential, we have prominent, eminent, we have prestigious, we have famous, major. These are expressions, noteworthy. These are very crucial. These are very good quality adjectives that can be considered clearly as academic more than the word important. Important is not like everybody is saying important. So the idea is paraphrasing, but
have to be unique.
you have to show off. لازم تبين أنت تتفاخر. You have academic expressions, but meaningful academic expressions, not like any academic expressions. Like they have to be meaningful. They have to suit the context. So, like, for example, I'll give you an example. I drink milk. Okay, very simple sentence, correct?
Yeah.
If we want to show off good essay style in Ielts, we have to say, I individually, I by myself have digested a gallon of bovine products.
It's a long sentence.
I know, but you have to say something in academic way just to show off that you know academic vocabulary. Because Ahmed in Ielts they have a condition that says lexical diversity. I talked with you about it.
Yeah. We discussed it.
Lexical diversity is how many good quality academic vocabulary you do have.
Mm-hmm.
So you just need to keep that in mind, that if you just keep saying something very and good and important, these are not academic per se. They're just random informal vocabulary. Huh?
Tend to be meaningless.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. I just don't feel that they are quite academic expressions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one more example, okay?
Mm-hmm. I'm ready.
Perfect. People should follow the customs and traditions when people start to live in a new country. الناس لازم تمشي على عادات وتقاليد الناس اللي بالبلد اللي هم رايحين. Very simple sentence. This is a question that came in Ielts. We just need to paraphrase it, and when we paraphrase it, we just put it in our own words, and that is going to be a good introduction.
I'm just writing my answer.
Let's think of people as individuals. Should, maybe ought to, or obligated. Follow means to abide by. Traditions are norms. Start.
I'm just thinking about moving to a new community.
I love it. Just write it down and we can fix any kind of issue with it. I love it, but you just shifted the meaning when you said moving to a new community means understanding their habits. But that does not give me the meaning that people should be adjusted individual. So we can say individuals are or individuals should be adjusted to the norms and traditions,
To the what?
norms of the culture they are immigrating
Moving.
to or moving to. And this is going to be a great introduction, Ahmed. You're just rephrasing.
What do you mean by norms?
Norms
What does norms mean?
norms اللي هي يعني something that has to do with people's traditions and customs. It's the customs and traditions.
Oh,
Okay? So we're just using a different word because we need to put it in our own words. So when you say individuals should be adjusted to the norms and traditions of the culture they are immigrating to, this will increase their adaptation of their education system and settling and understanding people and patiently trying to merge with this society to become active and successful citizens when they immigrate. That just became an introduction. It just gives you the key to open an article instead of getting stuck of what to write. This is what paraphrasing is. It just helps you write the introduction that will give you a chance to write more. But if you're getting stuck or you copy exactly 100% of what is written, you are going to be marked down, believe it or not. Okay, one last question and we are going to end the meeting. I'll give you a few tasks more to do.
what deadline? Mr. Lee?
It depends on your availability. Don't worry about it. There are many different types of music in the world today. By the way, have you heard of the word genre?
I hate typing in the phone. Sorry?
Have you heard of the word genre?
No.
Genre is a kind of type. Like
Genre.
music genre is like rock or pop or dance or tango. These are music. I don't know. I'm not specialized in music, but these are kind of like categorizations on which music is divided.
So I should paraphrase this sentence?
Very simple, right?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you to paraphrase it.
Any synonym for types?
I said genre. I gave you that word. Genre.
It's genre. It's a type of music, right?
Yes. Type is genre. Like what kind of medicine genre do you have? What kind of medicine types you have? Like homeopathic, medical, whatever. I'm just giving nothing on top of my head. But I'm just thinking of the word type as genre. Or kind. Kind.
I wrote kind, but I felt it's weak.
It is. It is
really
weak.
academic.
It is weak. It's not quite academic, but it's an attempt to paraphrase. So it is better than writing the word type, because that is going to be stealing.
Okay.
Nowadays, there is a wide range of music genre that people can listen to. I love it. I love it. You're getting there. Perfect. So this is going to be an introduction, and then we can build on that. Like, for example, individuals may prefer to listen to rock or pop music, while other people might prefer something more noisy or noisier, such as rap. And then you can build the introduction, and that's it. I think that's going to be satisfactory so far. You mentioned something interesting. I want to ask you a question about. Do you want me to give you a deadline?
I love it. I'm sure I can do my task. Since I am not that, I learned this since I was a child. Well, I'll give you an example. I study only when I have an exam.
Okay, but you're very smart. You study smartly. You don't study hard.
Yeah. I study smartly or smart.
I don't know if the word smartly is a word or not, but I just said it there.
Smart. I love smart. I work smart. Because I don't know if you use this or no. The smart means specific, measurable,
quantifiable, operational.
No, it's I don't remember. It's smart. It's meaning of some words. It's as for
no, that's
as for smart. Specific. As for specific.
Ahmed, this is something that they do in project management, but the word smart has nothing to do with this abbreviation. But they just use it as an abbreviation for smart diagrams, where you can say something measurable, specific, acquired, whatever kind of expression that is for that.
For time bound. Realistic for R, and I don't remember the A.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what I did, I sent you a couple of tasks because they are part of our activity for today.
18 is too much. I think I'll do them tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. I have nothing to do tomorrow.
I love it. Okay, the sooner the better.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have paraphrase the sheets. It's this sheet?
No.
Okay.
This is a PDF. A PDF that you need to read part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sending you a Word document that has some sentences that I want you to paraphrase. You have a listening test, you have a reading test, and you have a writing test.
Okay.
So these are all pointed out here. Number 1, paraphrase this sheet. I sent you a Word document.
Yeah.
Number 2, take this test and send me the score. The link is attached.
Okay.
3, read section 1 of task 2. Section 1 of task 2 is called Ielts Academic General Task 2. It's a PDF. I want you to read the first section.
Yeah, I just downloaded it. Just let me have a look.
Well, I don't want you to read for like a high school test. Go through them, because you're smart now enough to say, well, yeah, we covered this. Just read the headline. This is what he means. Just take an example out of 10. We just need to make sure that we go through that together in our next meeting.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sounds good?
I'll be ready. Okay. When